So guys, there's still something to be said about the posh nightclub scene here in New York City. Now, things sure have changed here on Hope's Mountain. It's true. Nightlife continues to change, continues to evolve. People's interests continue to shift. You young whippersnappers, you do things totally different than I used to when I was your age. I'm young, I'm older than you. I don't look like it, but I am. And that's totally fine. Now, you know the one. You have the standard bottle service. You get all dressed up in your shirts and your little freakum dresses. You have the overpriced drinks. Sometimes you get in the lines. You have you get in because you know the promoters. There's the GA line and the ticket line and the VIP and all that nonsense, of course, right? And it's all great. It's all well and good, and I'll tell you why. The posh nightclub scene. You have like your Tao and your Marquis and your Lavos and your whatever. First of all, it operates almost kind of like the corporate of nightlife, because you go to other cities and you have these exact same clubs and they're owned by the exact same group of people. I don't think people really realize that. So you have the New York style, and then you have the Vegas style. You might have the New York style place, and you have the LA style place, or the Vegas and then the Mexico style place, because they have the clubs have the same name, none of the same rights by the same owners and stuff like that. I mean, people own these clubs all around the world. And some people like these clubs and some people don't. People I think are looking for a lot of alternative experiences. But the truth of the matter is, and this is my take on it from being in this life for a long time, the posh nightlife scene, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's not. Getting all dressed up and all dolled up and spending lots of money, it's sort of a rite of passage, when you first get on the scene and you're first 21. So this is why you see so many young people, funneling through the clubs year after year after year after year, because there's still this excitement factor. But that's not the only group. You'd be surprised. A lot of the businessmen, a lot of the big spenders who want to come and show out but aren't really sure how, or don't want to think about, getting creative. They're sitting there with their bottles and their models and all that jazz. And even though the industry kind of changes and the scene kind of changes, that aspect of it isn't really going anywhere. I think people are always gonna like that because it's sort of a default. A bunch of hot spots closed down last year alone. People were surprised to hear these places: Videology in Brooklyn, Output and Cielo, and that weird Continental bar that people had issues with. And those weren't the same places. So, I think the money funneling through, especially in a city like New York, is make or break for you. And these big posh places with the big bouncers that are, douchebags and stuff like that, well, not all of them, some of them are, some of them aren't. They've got staying power because they funnel in the big bucks, and that's what it's about. Would we like to all see more diversity and more going on? Yeah, of course we would. And I think there's a place and there's going to be a time for that coming up, in the future. But for now, I would say if you want to do the big posh thing and you're young and it's your first foray into nightlife, I say do it. It's nice once or twice having the experience of, getting on the list, getting all dressed up, and then getting in with your friends. Whether you have the table or the bottle or your, whatever your setup is, I say at least do it once or twice when you're young, for sure. Because it is quite an experience, if nothing else. If you're looking for more places to go, you can always check out our site, www.cultureconciergeonline.com.